Hello, friends. It's John Klein III of episode 82 of Shadow and Flame of Magic, the podcast. And today we are going to review New X-Men 41. So let's get to it. And once again, thank you to Francisco for providing the theme song to the podcast. Appreciate it. And you. And there's no new monthly comics, so I was dipping into our old uh, 41 issue numbered comics. I got this one and two others that I have to do before December is over, before the old year is up. And we're doing this, of course, because I am 41 years old, and it's just good for old dad to remember how old is old. So this is issue 41. It is Endangered Species Part 8 of 8. And it will cost you $2.99 or 375 cans. It's rated T plus. Inside cover ad is for the U.S. Army Strong. Which shout outs to my mother for being a staff sergeant when she retired from the Army. Appreciate her and all the other veterans. And this comic would have came out in October 2007. And because it is a 2007 comic, we get a fun little recap page, which makes it very easy to do. To catch up on everything. So previously, in New X-Men, the demon lord Belasco has pulled the inhabitants of the Xavier Institute into limbo, which Ilyana would later do, 10 years later for Extraordinary X-Men? So, good ideas get recycled. Asking the new X-Men a simple question: where is Ilyana Rasputin? But they have no memory of being with Ilyana and are forced to fight for their lives against the angered demon. On Earth, Surge and Hellion have found Limbo's former ruler, Amanda Sefton, and along with the one Setno Megaton, and that's 1O asterisk N asterisk E, which I forget what it stands for, traveled to Limbo to rescue their friends. But the wilds of Limbo, a group of students have found Ilyana Rasputin. I keep wanting to go Rasputina, but Rasputin, sort of. They prepare to take the battle to Belasco alongside a soulless Darkchild. The Quest for Magik, the conclusion. Christopher Yost and Craig Kyle story, which in 2007, they were, this was one of the best titles, X titles at the time. So it's so great to, revisit the storyline. I forgot it was 8 issues long. I remember it was a proper arc, but I did not know it was 8. So one day we'll get to the rest of these. Script by Christopher Yost. Pencils and Inks by Scotty Young. So it's an amazing comic full of kinetic energy. Scotty Young and Jean Francis Boyo are doing the colors, which I'm curious to see what page. It's a shame they didn't go pages 1 through this and by him and by the other. Letters by Dave Sharp. Production Brad Johansson. Assistant editor Danielle Kitchum. Editor Nick Lowe, who's now a Spider editor. Editor-in-Chief Joe Quesada, and publisher Dan Buckley. There is a X-23 created by Craig Kyle, which I could have sworn Christopher Yost was also co-creator, but I guess not. To find Marvel Comics at a local comic shop, call 1-888-COMIC-BOOK, which I know a lot of people were saying Marvel's how there should have been nice if there was anywhere in the marketing that also had the 1-888-COMIC-BOOK on there. The Wastelands, Limbo. And the team is, one thing missing that they would later add is a little caption, creative team. And I think it's Rockslide, Anoli, and Blindfold are talking. And so they do have Pixie, who's upside down, and I don't see the wings, this is what threw me off. And Ilyana's there. Anoli's technically the field team leader. And Ilyana is, or maybe we should say Darkchild is, and this is step 1 in the master plan of a 6-year plan to get Ilyana Rasputina back in the books. Yost and Kyle would set her up here, and then it would take Zeb Wells to bring her back in New Mutants, like fully, which that is not a quick story either. But what a great, what is that? Volume 3 of New Mutants, and that's pretty great. And so Darkchild is mad about Pixie because she's not learning the spells quick enough. Outside Belasco's castle is the one Sentinels. Surge and Hellion are blasting demons, trying to uh, just get through to them all, to the castle. Inside Belasco's courtyard, we see Elixir and Laura. And Mercury's there, and Belasco's is torturing everyone because he right before this, because this is new X-Men, so the decimation happened, so this is after House of M. But in the process of House of M, everyone got to live their life fulfillment, their dreams, and Ileana Rasputina was back in New Mutants title, or I'm pretty sure it was whatever the new X-Men title turned into. And so Belasco noticed her, because Limbo exists across all realms and all times. So when he noticed her, he went to get her, and by the time he was able to approach her, they vanished as the timeline was reset. And so he is very angry. There's an ad here for the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, the video game, which I want to say was pretty decent. Like, it was a bit of a clone of X-Men Legends before Ultimate Alliance showed up. And so it was like a dungeon crawler, but I want to say they tried to do like not enough, but also too much. So it was like, just make new X-Men Legends, which I would love in X-Men Legends 3. But there was like team combos. Uh, I want to say how far, because I want to say I rented it at one point, or somehow I played it, and I got to that alchemy villain the Fantastic Four fights every so often. Diablo, maybe? Anyways, it was an alright game. Let's see here. This is 2007, so it was out on the Wii, Nintendo DS, Xbox 360, and PlayStation. Oh, available on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3. They made it cross-platform. And then Surge shows up and starts blasting Belasco, saving Mercury from more torture. Or actually, no, I think it's Laura, but without just Laura's top torso in her head, so that's not great. So it had to be Laura, right? And then David's there, Prodigy, with powers. It's hard to tell what everyone, like, everyone's getting a moment to talk, but it's not. And Velasco gets the upper hand because Surge had, did a sucker punch. He's just screaming like, "Where is Ileana Rasputin?" And Laura's like, "Who?" And then Ileana and the team show up because Pixie was able to finally learn. I guess this is Dark Pixie because she's lost a piece of her soul, and so now they can teleport. And now, Darkchild and Belasco are in front of each other after decades, and in a fun twist that must have been on purpose, Darkchild turns into the full silver armor she had Inferno, when her story ended in Inferno. So she armors up and starts dashing at Belasco, and Rockslide gets involved. Anyway, grabs Belasco by his because Rockslide is gigantic, and he's also like lava Rockslide right now. And he grabs Belasco, and then he tells Sim to finally get involved, and so now we get fight, 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 and it's amazing. Like, I'm underplaying it, but great splash page as Sim's back. Mercury's attacking him, which irritates me as rather young ladies were never around Sim, but they're fighting for their lives, so they better just get to it. Darkchild realizes that she needs more power, and so she wants more Pixie souls. And Belasco's starting to get the upper hand when Laura's back on her feet, Claus ready. So she's ready to get her revenge. And the cuckoo's three, which is not what we call them, tri cuckoos? I think they just call them the cuckoos, right? But it's the three of them. I was about to try to say their names, but I know it's not Esme, and I know it's not Sophie, right? So let's see here. That's E and the S. So Irene's one, or Mindy. P is Sophie. SPIC. Oh, and Celeste? Oof, I do not know the cuckoo's names. And so he tortured the cuckoos earlier, and so now they're back. There's an ad here for the Doctor Strange animated movie that I recall being decent. And then there's a double page ad here for a Honda Element SC with like sticker Honda with a stickered lion, and they're chit chatting, and it's like, who buys cars based off of seeing an ad for them in a comic book? It's ridiculous. I read this comic like 2 days ago, but like the page to page stuff is throwing me off. But so they surround him and they do name check him, which is nice. So it is Celeste and Phoebe. So I do know the cuckoo's names, so that's reassuring. And the one talking must be Irene. And so they're talking about how Belasco is doing all this because he actually loved Ileana, and so seeing her and then not being able to talk to her made him sad. So he recreated her, not by body and her mind, but still missing a huge piece. And then he doesn't like being confronted, though there's a great panel of him looking super sad. And a choom! Like he's just having all this like demonic energy come off of him. And so he thinks Darkchild is a fake, but so he wants the real her. And then we get this fun capsule of where everyone is at the moment. And Hellion has finally caught up to Amanda Sefton, and she feels it. Belasco is bringing Earth to limbo. Earth, this sanctum sanctorum. Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. I don't know why Spider-Man's here, but except to let Doctor Strange have someone to chit-chat. And Strange says this is bad. Our dimension's merging with another, and I don't know if I can stop it in time. Which does not feel Spider-Man with. And there's a fun, what do you call these things? A storyline tree, a dialogue tree about J.C. Penney, where it's like getting dressed. Are you male? And it says no or yes. And so you say yes, and it's like model or guy. And say guy, and it goes straight to BVD, built for guys, brand of boxers. But if you say model, then it cuts to the left where it's like, do you feel pretty? And then it just turns into all these other things. So it's like, sort of, want to talk about it? Yes. Now? Yes. Will you cry? Yes. New shoes? And that one just has no. Plan to shop? Yes. Shaving legs? No. Oh, I imagine, I guess the joke's here that it just continues over and over and over. But if you're just a guy, then, and not a model guy, you just get a pair of boxers. Gave that way too much attention. And so all the new X-Men are trying to fight him. Pixie's scared because she does not want to do this anymore. And Darkchild says that she picked Pixie because her soul was the most pure of everyone. And so she has the most power, more than any other X-Men. So now she really needs her more of her soul. There's a ad here for Pathfinder Unrated, which I sort of remember the commercial for. I want to say it's based on a game? Prepare yourself for battle scenes too intense for theaters, which seems like a mistake because it's a very CGI heavy film. So if you're not using all the CGI, then what's the point? So Belasco is saying he's going to look forward to killing the children of the X-Men. And then he gets stabbed in the back. And then we start seeing the astonishing X-Men team because it's that era. And so it's Cyclops, Kitty Pryde, Beast, and Colossus. And thought it'd be fun because there's way too many Dark Child appearances, but Kitty only shows up in 3 panels. So for promoting this episode, I'm going to post those 3 panels of Kitty because you're only limited to 4 panels everywhere. So might as well go for 3. That's a full one. And then tomorrow morning when I promote the episode, I will go use the cover and then the 3 ads again. So that works. So they're trying to break their way through. Belasco is suffering from the knife wound. He can't believe he was betrayed. And Darkchild shows that she created a bloodstone just like how she was taught. And Belasco is still insisting that she's fake, but she insists that she was born. She was given life, but with no soul. So every day minute is a hellish torture. And Darkchild stabs him one more time and he just vanishes. And we get to the stuff where I remember. So everyone wants to go home, but Darkchild is not done yet. And then Pixie starts oh yeah, she's definitely Dark Pixie. Her hair is black with pink stripes and her wings are not the cute pixie wings, but more like fly wings. And all the demons are bowing to her. Darkchild got one piece of her soul, Pixie's soul, but she wants all 5 parts because I guess souls can be broken into 5 parts. And with the 5 parts, you become a god, which I guess Zeb Wells read. And I was like, oh, well then when I do New Mutants, that will be what it takes. And Anoli's asking her not to do this. Like, please let them go. Like, Ileana, please, you don't have to do this. Do not call me that name. My name is Snowflake. Snowflake, can it be you? And Scotty Young draws such a fantastic Colossus. Like his whole style, like the coloring is great. I don't know, it's just next level stuff. Peter, and here's another panel we're gonna upload. Have you returned to me? And we see Kitty's all in shadows, very artsy. Peter, be careful. But he's already putting his hand on her chin, and he's already demetalizing. Please tell me the truth, Ileana. Is this you? No, do not look at me. Which is exactly how she was in the end of Inferno, where she did not want her brother to see her in her demonic form. All of you, just go away. And you see portals start opening up. And it turns out Emma was there, as was or Wolverine. Or Logan, I should say. And Logan's like, oh, it's her. Oh, hell, it's her. And then portals everyone away. And then we get Kitty's being ported away. Like, Peter, got gotcha. But it doesn't look like he's being ported yet. Pixie's being teleported away. She wants to know about her soul. And then the last one left is Colossus as he's metal back up. Don't do this. Let me help you. Let me. Goodbye, brother. The Xavier Institute Night. So Pixie and Anoli are chit-chatting. Uh, Anoli reminds us that Rockslide still made a limbo rock, so that explains what happened there. Poor Rockslide would later die in Otherworld and then become Wrongslide, so he adapts to his environment. We're also reminded this was the story arc where Anoli got his new arm because it got chopped off and then he just regrew a more massive green arm. And his new arm itches. She mentions how her soul itches, which then, makes Anoli feel like he can no longer share. And then Lava Rockslide shows up and says that he talked to Surge and Cyclops and he's taking himself off the team so that these two can join the team because they deserve it. He keeps calling them nerds. Oh, and they also reference how Colossus really wanted to go back, but Amanda Sefton said Limbo had been sealed off. So that's where we are leaving Limbo. But then we're back in Limbo, and Darkchild is wearing a pretty red dress, or a pretty, red dress. But I guess it's a pretty shade of red. And she's on her throne, and Nasir's there, we're going, yes. And Sim's there, like, well, boss, what now? Now, Sim? Now I get my soul back. Next, Children of X-Men. And then there's a preview for Endangered Species, Chapter 8, which makes sense, I guess. Must be. And Beast is here. Oh, yeah, this is where Beast is becoming more and more villainous, and he's working with Dark Beast, ironically, as he himself shall become the Dark Beast. And they're getting no answers. And to be continued in X-Men 202, which should be the Mike Carey Bellaccio era. So I guess it's just a coincidence that Endangered Species was Chapter 8 and Endangered Species was 8? Oh, Endangered Species Chapter 8 is the name of the backup that got promoted on the cover. And I read this in the beginning, right, 20 minutes ago, where the quest for Magik, the conclusion. So, but I bet it was still part 6 or so. I should look that up. But that was New Mutants 41. And so my next episode will be the Marvels tie-in with Carol. And then we have an Inferno comic to review. And then comics out this week is New X-Men. Nope. New X-Men is the word I'm looking at right now. But Dark X-Men 4 and Jean Grey 4 are the two titles I'm really looking forward to. And I forget what the other ones were. Children of the Vault and Astonishing Iceman? I just remember Jonathan Loves X-Men, a great Twitter account, on Mondays posts what comics are coming out, and I really appreciate that. And so those were the two I remember. Oh, and Uncanny Avengers is coming out too. Like, I literally mentally picturing my tweet response to it. And all those should be 5-issue arcs. Well, no, I think Jean Grey ends. I think that one got 4. And Uncanny Avengers is probably still continue the Captain Krakoa mystery, even though they gotta be solving that pretty soon. But it's the big hook of the series, so once they reveal it, the series will probably end, but it's gonna end soon regardless. Speaking of Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Blue Sky, Instagram at Jackal SII. You can follow the podcast at SNFWM and spelt out at Twitter and Instagram. That's where you're going to be able to see those 3 Kitty Pride panels. And I'll talk at you next time. Thanks everyone for listening, and please ask a friend to listen. And if you would subscribe and like and leave a review, that will help the podcast grow. And I really appreciate it. All right, everyone. Bye.